check over there? Meanwhile, they served our country, and now they're not getting the service they deserve due to major backlogs at the VA.
In October of 2009, 164,000 in the backlog. It's now 630,000. What is wrong here?
Veterans in the last 4 years, Candy, have joined us in unprecedented numbers.
This administration and you knew that the two wars were going to end. This is not a lack of caring, but this is a lack of something.
Normally, when I've run into situations like this is a leadership issue.
Well, our next guest is using that ad to call for the head of the VA, retired General Eric Shinseki, to step down. We're now joined by the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America, Pete Hegseth. Pete, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Let's start at the beginning. General Eric Shinseki has had a long and illustrious career in the military, and you have the deepest respect for him on the military basis.
Absolutely, and deepest respect for his willingness to step up and lead the VA. I mean, we appreciate the fact that he wanted to continue to serve, and by all accounts is an incredibly honorable man. But at some point, results have to matter.
Sure.
And him and President Obama 4 years ago pledged to fix this claims backlog, and over the course of 4 years, it's increased by 2,000%. And you know what? It's not for a lack of funding. Funding has gone up by 40% over those 4 years at the VA, and they were exempt from sequestration.
Sure.
Yet the line has gotten 2,000% longer. At some point, somebody's got to be held accountable.
All right, let's take a look. We've got a full screen that shows the average wait times. A veteran filing his or her claim probably waits 279 days, according to our stats. Today, he wouldn't receive benefits until January 6th of 2014. And take a look at the national disability benefits. Close to 600,000 vets are waiting more than 125 days. About 250,000 vets waiting more than a year, 279 days on average wait time. But you told me that in some of the big metropolitan areas, some of these guys are waiting close to 2 years for anything.
It's double that in some places. New York and L.A., it's over 600 days. And we just hear story after story after story at Concerned Vets for America of guys waiting 2 or 3 years, claims being lost multiple times. You know, the department spent $500 million to migrate the paper process to a digital process.
Sure.
$500 million later, and a system scrapped. 3% of claims are now done online. 97% are still done on paper. This is government failure at its worst, a calcified bureaucracy unwilling to change. You need a sort of uncompromising leader with private sector experience who's reformed things before to take the helm of the VA and deliver services vets deserve. It just isn't happening, and we shouldn't sit back and let it happen.
And you say that Shinseki promised 4 years ago at his confirmation hearings he would streamline things, make sure that things aren't going well. And so now, fast forward 4 years, things have actually gotten worse. Who would you like to see take the place?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's finally some members of Congress are stepping up. Duncan Hunter, 25 other bipartisan veterans in Congress sent a letter to the White House just last week saying, hey, we want answers, we want action. And so CVA is proud to be working with them and others to finally try to fight for something to get fixed and new leadership at the top of the VA.
Well, it is a disgrace that our veterans would have to wait that much for something that they earned and deserve. So let's see if anything happens. Peter, thank you very much for joining us today from Boston.
Thanks, Steve.
You bet. What do you think about that? Email us, friends@foxnews.com. Is it appropriate that our vets are waiting 600 days to get the service they need? Meanwhile, the CIA